Hey everyone, this is Derek here, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at the 3 new grips that were introduced with the PUBG Mobile 0.7.0 global beta. With the beta wrapping up and the release of 0.7.0 right around the corner, I figured now's a good time to make this video detailing when and when you should not use each one of these new types of grips, because no one grip is great at everything. And in some cases, using the wrong grip can actually be worse than using no grip at all. And for a comparison between the vertical and angled foregrip, I made that video about a month ago or so now. I will leave a link in the video description, and that way you can get a better sense of how each of the 5 grips now in the game perform. So first, let's take a look at the first of the new ones, the half grip, which is best for burst. So this guy's super easy to find in game because it is red and it stands out. It reduces weapon recoil slightly and improves recoil recovery time with a penalty to weapon stability and sway. So what that really means is that this is best for weapons that you are shooting short bursts of automatic fire on. So obviously the M16 doesn't accept a grip, however think 3 or 4 shot bursts. So something like an M416 on automatic mode and then just firing off quick squeezes of the trigger, because that is where this grip excels. It's able to be equipped on the M416, the Scar L, the UMP9, the SKS, the AUG A3, the Chris Vector, and the QBZ95, which isn't currently in the game yet. That's the Chinese assault rifle, which replaces the Scar L on Sanhok, the rainforest map that hasn't yet been introduced. It'll come in the August update to the global version of PUBG Mobile, probably called 0.8.0 or 0.8.1 or something like that. So why is this best for burst? Well, it reduces the recoil and improves recoil recovery time. So recoil recovery time is how long it takes for your scope to settle back down on your target after you take a shot. So when you take a shot with a scope in the game, or even just through the iron sights, you'll notice that your weapon bounces around a little bit and then it steadies back up. This is most apparent if you're shooting with like an 8x scope. So you'll notice that it kind of just bounces randomly around and then it settles. Recoil recovery time, if that's improved, that occurs quicker and it settles back down faster. And then weapon recoil, well, that makes sense. That's just how much the weapon gets pulled either right, left, up, or down with a shot. So penalty, though, to weapon stability and sway, this only comes into effect when you're taking multiple shots. So that's why I said this is best for burst, but not full auto. Now, it's still better than no grip for full auto too, but like I said, short burst, that's where this excels. So something like the UMP9 or the M4, just shooting off those short bursts of 3, 4, 5 rounds. Next up, we have the light grip, which in my opinion is the worst of the 3. It is, however, good for one thing, and that is as a single shot grip for a DMR or AR. So DMR is designated marksman rifle. Those are the sniper rifles, or we call them sniper rifles, that are not bolt action. So things like the SKS, the new SLR, the VSS, the Mini 14, guns like that. The light grip reduces recoil recovery time, but increases vertical and horizontal recoil. That may sound awful, and that's because, well, it kind of is, but reduces recoil recovery time by quite a bit. So again, that's how much your scope bounces around between shots. If that's reduced, it allows you to take a follow-up shot quicker. So this would be great, for example, on an SKS with an 8x scope, because it allows you to take that second shot faster than if you had no grip equipped. However, if you have this on an M4 and you're just in full auto, that's worse than having no grip on the gun. So that's why I'm saying this is probably the worst of the 3, because you could very easily pick this up, forget about it, and experience a worse weapon recoil pattern than if you had no grip at all equipped, which is kind of crazy, but that's how it is. So this guy, do not use on automatic, just on single shot. It equips to the M416, the Scar L, the UMP9, the SKS, the AUG A3, the Chris Vector, and the QBZ95, which again is not yet in the game. So very similar weapons that it can equip on, but the light grip good for single shot long range with a scope because it reduces the recoil recovery time by quite a bit. Other than that, pretty useless. Finally, the last of the new grips is the thumb grip, which is the spray away. It's basically a very, very good grip for full automatic. It reduces vertical recoil, but increases horizontal recoil and increases recoil recovery time. So the fact that it increases recoil recovery time means it's not going to be good at long range with a scope, because that's, what the light grip that we were just talking about, that's what that one is good at. This one is kind of the opposite. It's best for full auto spraying of an AR or an SMG like the M416 in automatic mode when you're going into a house and you might have to engage someone super short range. So the reason for that is because it reduces vertical recoil by a lot, and that allows you to land those follow-up shots. And the increase in horizontal recoil, at least in my testing, was pretty minimal. So I wouldn't really worry about that. It really just seems to do a great job of reducing the overall recoil and is probably my favorite of the new grips. But like I said, even this one, not the best at everything. For something like long range shots with a scope, not a good grip to use. So finally, we're going to be taking a look at this graph. This was a comparison that was shot from a YouTube user by the name of Maestro. I think that's how you pronounce it, like the conductor. But this is the spray pattern for each grip. So what he did here is he just aimed at a wall and just shot with each grip the same weapon, and then made nice colorful lines showing what the recoil was. So this isn't a large enough sample to get like the best idea of what's happening here, but it's still good enough to talk about a little bit as far as grip comparison. So you can see the light grip, I said that's awful. So this was shot on full automatic, an entire magazine. You can see the light grip, look at that, look how far up it went, and that's because it's awful for automatic fire. So it did a good job of reducing, I guess, side to side, but that could just be random chance. And it had the worst vertical recoil by far. You can see that the thumb grip, the last one we were talking about, great for automatic fire, and that's why, because look at it, the vertical recoil is about half that of the light grip, and that allows you to land those follow-up shots and compensate for that automatic fire recoil a lot better. Then you have the half grip, which is the first one we talked about, and I said that one's best for short bursts. That's where it excels. You can see it's kind of in the middle of the light grip and the thumb grip. And then you have the vertical, which is a good grip, of course, for longer range. I prefer the vertical over the angled in most cases. The angled's supposed to be a little bit better for spraying full automatic, but I usually just stick with the vertical and call it a day. So there you have it. I'm curious now, what are your thoughts on these grips? Do you have a different conclusion? Do you have a favorite one? Do you think that 5 grips is too many? It's kind of confusing, honestly, when you have this many items on the ground and you're like, oh, there's a half grip, there's a thumb grip, there's a choke, there's so much to keep track of now with what is good with what weapon, what attachment's good with what weapon, in what situation, that do we really need this many? I don't know. So either way, hopefully this video helped you out and you now know a little bit more about the 3 new types of grips that are coming in the PUBG Mobile 0.7.0 global update very shortly, if it's not out already by the time you watch this. If it helped you out, definitely give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, because that really does help grow the channel and I certainly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider doing that now too, for tons more PUBG Mobile content, including gameplay, tips and tricks, loot location highlights, and a whole lot more. My name's Derek G, and I hope to see you on the battlefield soon, or in my Discord, which I'll also leave a link to down below.